If you saw my last video, you know that I had trouble controlling my plane. It turns out that the push rods for the flaps were on the outer hull. There's 4 holes for each flap. When I say flap, I mean wing aileron, tail rudder, and elevators. When it's on the outer hull, the flap moves a minimal amount. Combine that with my controller was on low rate, which also minimizes the movement, and you have very little control over the plane. Now I've configured my plane so the push rods are on the inner hull, and the flaps will move the maximum amount. Combine that with putting the controller on high rate, and the plane will be extremely responsive, hopefully not too responsive. I did a little experiment and wanted to measure how far the vertical stabilizer rudder moved under different conditions. So I taped a piece of paper under the rudder and then experimented with different hole positions and high-low, and I traced where the rudder moved to and measured the distance. And I found the difference can be from 1.5 millimeters for outer hull, low rate, moving to the right, to 5 millimeters for the inner hull, high rate, moving to the left. I also found out that all of my flaps move more in one direction than the other, which is kind of strange, so it would yaw more in one direction than the other. Now the flaps are moving more one way than the other, and I found out how to fix it. All of these servos have a screw. All you have to do is loosen the screw, move the servo arm, tighten the screw. So that's what I'm planning to do to get this moving in the same amount in both directions. I learned on the HobbyZone SuperCub, and it didn't have wing ailerons. It had tail elevons, so they could move up and down independently and up and down together as ailerons and elevators. The problem with that, the plane was slow to react, and when you move to a plane like this, you'll go to turn, and you'll end up doing 3 barrel rolls, and that's exactly what I did my first flight. I treated it like it was the HobbyZone SuperCub, and this reacts far more quickly. It's not really good to learn on those. I really recommend learning on the flight simulators you can get on your computer. So this is the camera I've been filming on the whole time. It's a PSP with a camera attachment. My new camera is much nicer. It's a CamCorder. My battery officially died. The lithium polymer or LiPo battery, it got crushed. And my charger here, which comes with the ParkZone F4U Corsair, it beeped when I tried to charge it. It refused to charge it, which is good because I learned that if you charge a damaged battery, it could explode. So that's a good thing. Now, how you dispose of dead batteries, you put them in salt water. So I've got some salt water here, I put some warm water, put some salt in. So I'm going to drop this in, and you let it soak for 3 days, and then you can dispose of it. And you should see bubbles coming out, which indicates it's being neutralized. My old battery was 1.8 amps, the new battery is 2.2 amps. We'll see what difference that makes. This is my new charger, MRC SuperBrain 992, and my old charger took like 5 hours to charge the battery. This one takes like 20 minutes, it's amazing. The way I charge this is I put the black wire in negative, and this is for balancing. Then I take these plugs and attach them. The hobby shop guy custom soldered this plug for me, so it fits. I'll have a link to his RC shop in my description. This selects how many cells you have. I have 3 cells. Use the menu to select how many milliamps you have. This battery has 2,200. Then you hit start. You can see it load balancing the 3. It also has a small fan if it overheats. Now people complain how hard this is to pull apart. I found a good technique. If you just put your thumbs together, and it comes apart pretty easily. I have some damage to my engine. Let's compare how it sounds compared to what it used to sound when it was new. And now how it used to sound. I downloaded this ParkZone F4U Corsair. I'll have a link in my description where you can download these planes for RealFlight. This is so realistic. It has the holes in the bottom, which I still don't know what they're for. You can see a little man inside. This one has the 3-blade propeller. It flies pretty realistically like the real plane does. These are some tricks I will attempt on my next flight. What's nice about this is you can see the orientation of the plane in the bottom panel. In the top, you can see what I'm doing with the controller, how I'm controlling the speed and the elevator and the ailerons and rudder. So I'm going to try some upside down flying. Then try a touch and go. Try to do a hard yaw to one side, turn around. Maybe try to fly low and skim my wing on the grass. And attempt to land. And of course, take off. This plane's pretty durable. A lot of planes under flight will break if the flight is crashed. But I hit the ground 2 or 3 times with this today. That kind of thing. Got a new wing, new cowl, new propeller, and a new servo for the wing aileron. So now I've got 2 working wing ailerons. I haven't had that in a while, so should be good. It's kind of windy, not too bad. Wow, that is really reacting quickly. Look how fast that reacts. I'm just kind of riding the wind right now, which I can do because of the flaps. What's nice is that you could actually see some of the tricks I've been doing. Now we're finally filming with this new camera, so we'll see how it does. There's a jet up there. Let's see if we can cross our paths. I'm hearing some weird flapping noise. Losing in the sun, starting to silhouette. Not sure what direction it's facing here. Okay, coming at me. Not a good time to fly right now. I should probably call it a day and land it. It's starting to get hard to see, so let's try to bring it in for a landing. What that flapping is. Oh, silhouette, silhouette. Oh, I lost track and I made a mistake and almost crashed it again. I'm pretty much right in the same place I almost crashed it before. Well, I landed right where I landed before, which is nice. It's the high grass, so I know I didn't get any damage. Scared some rabbits. This is a great place to land. It's like padding for airplanes. Seems like this is shaking back here. Ah, it broke off. That's what the noise was. But luckily I bought a new one, so these parts are really cheap. Go check out the links in my description. I broke down the cost of this plane part by part. Having it set up so quick is good for tricks, but it's not so good for just gliding around. So it's good having this high-low rate. You can just flip it and have a little less control, a little more cruise.